Hello and welcome to another edition of AttractWell Office Hours. I'm Coach Ashley, joined today by founder of AttractWell, Greg Kilwine. Hey, Greg.
Hey everyone, really glad you're here today.
We also have a very special guest with us today. We have Chrissy Chin. Hey, Chrissy.
Hello, hello. Happy to be here.
We are so excited to have you here today, and you guys should be excited as well because we're going to be talking about creating leverage in your business or practice. Of course, there's lots of ways you can do that with AttractWell, but we have an actual expert on the topic who teaches on the topic here to share some tips with you. So we've got a lot to get into on today's call. Go ahead and head into the chat. Let us know where you're coming in from, maybe what you're excited to learn about today. We are, the three of us, going to pop out a video briefly just to get our housekeeping out of the way with some slides, and then we will be joining you again. So yeah, go ahead, head into the chat. We can't wait to hear from you today, and of course to chat with you about how you can build more leverage into how you grow. So here, let me get my slides situated. Perfect. All right. So again, today talking about creating leverage in your business with AttractWell. So we have our special guest, Chrissy, here today, who I'm just so very excited for you guys to meet and get to know. She has been out on our calls, our Thursday calls previously. We've worked with Chrissy for years, and this is something that she is just so talented at creating leverage, having systems in place. Chrissy has multiple businesses while also having a life, being a mom, being busy, right? And of course, she's got some great stuff to share with you here today. So we're going to talk about how to create leverage in your business. Greg has a very exciting new feature update that we're really excited to share with you and explore the different sort of implications of how you can build leverage into your business or practice with that feature. And then, of course, we'll talk about specific features and functions in your AttractWell system that help you to create leverage. And then, as always, we will get into our live help and Q&A. So if you are here today watching as a replay later on, you are able to go to attractwell.com/office hours. If you would like to join us on a Zoom call next time, we are live every Thursday at 2 p.m. US Eastern Time. And if you'd like to work together on a call like this one, as two people have signed up to do today, you can go to attractwell.com/work review. Let us know what you want help with. And then, of course, you can sign up for a future live call on a Thursday. We reserve the second half of our calls for this purpose. And if you need a hand, you can go to attractwell.com/concierge and learn about all the different ways our dedicated team can help you. If you want done for you work, if you want to work alongside someone, there's lots of great options here. So definitely check them out. Now, I would love to know, head into the chat, how do you use AttractWell to work more efficiently? What does that look like for you? Have you streamlined the way that you onboard new clients or customers? Have you started sending out broadcasts as opposed to individual messages, right? What does that look like for you? Now, before I get into too far ahead of myself, I would like to chat with Chrissy, and I think you guys are going to really love this. So, Chrissy, first, could you tell us a little bit about your background and sort of the need for leverage and what you do? And then let's kind of chat about some of the things that you do to make yourself more efficient in the way that you work.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm so excited to be here. And I'm seeing some of the locations in the chat. And I see Genevieve's from Atlanta. She's asking where I was typing it. And then I got called on here. So Sandy Springs. And then we have a house in Gainesville as well in the summer. So maybe we're close. Let me know where you are. So I went to school to be a nurse. I was not planning to be an entrepreneur, and then just quickly realized that I wanted more time freedom, more financial freedom. I didn't want to have to go back to school. There were some things happening in the hospitals. I was like, I don't know. I think I'm more preventative health than what we're doing here. And so that just sort of led me on a path. Long story short, that has led me to here. So I was first in the health space, helping with health prevention, then selling products through direct sales, and then launching my own courses and offers. I've got a business partner, Claire, who isn't on here today, but you'll always see us together. She's also my sister. So we do things together. And that led to launching our first business, Grow Workspace, very specific niche audience, providing marketing material. And then through the success of that, we grew that community base to gosh, our first month we had 1,400 paying subscribers on a monthly subscription, which grew to 4,000 in our fourth month. We made our first 6 figures in 4 months and our first million in 20 months. And the success of that just expanded to people, how do I create a course? How do I create a membership? How do I, start my business and generate the success that you have? And so that turned into KNC Creative, which is also Claire and I as well, teaching people how to do that. And one of my biggest passions are teaching people how to do it in an efficient, effective way so that you can have more time with your family or more time taking longer vacations during the summer, but still serving people, doing something that you're passionate about. So I'm curious, in the chat, someone says nurses rule. Thanks, Mike. In the chat, what your businesses are. I would love to know what your business is, maybe what you sell or who you support, just to give me an idea of who we have in here, because I know there's probably a mix of people. But it doesn't matter what your business is. I've realized that from doing a variety of things: direct sales business, course business, we do done for you, service business. Now I'm helping my husband launch an e-commerce business. And I'm realizing that so much of it is the same when it comes to business. And all of these automations and ways to work efficiently is the same, regardless of what your niche is, who you're serving, and sometimes even what your offer is. Okay, I'm just gonna health coach here from Sioux Falls. Amazing coaching school-based speech language pathologist. Okay, working more effectively in schools. And yes, okay, amazing. Teach people how to reverse type 2 diabetes. What a great business to be in. Very needed. Tarot-based love and relationship coach. Ooh, Genevieve, love it. Why haven't we connected? Especially you're in my area. Performance mindset coaching, career and life consulting. Yes, amazing. Doula, holistic health coach. Okay, yes. Every single a hairstyling life coach. Oh my gosh, amazing. Empowerment coach. Okay. Y'all have incredible businesses, by the way. This is really exciting to see. But yeah, just in terms of creating leverage, right? And like, what does that really mean, right? Working efficiently, working smarter and not harder. You're obviously using AttractWell, so you know the importance of a website and having the ability to work more efficiently through automations. Anything that that's taking you a lot of time and you can do in a quicker manner, whether it's sending emails to 100 people, like, we're not sending them manually, y'all. Like, that's why you're on AttractWell, right? So we can send one email, hit that button, and send it to 100 people. And there's lots of different ways, like more ways than we can cover in this little time that we have together, on how to automate your business, on how to have better systems and processes. Really hot topic as we get into summer, right? What are the systems that you are using or not using, and how can you be more efficient so you can free up your time this summer? So we're going to announce a masterclass that's happening next Monday, 1:00, where we're going to dive more into this automation, some things that are holding you back from being able to really automate in your business. And then more importantly, above and beyond automations is strategy. Because we can have a million automations set up to save ourselves a lot of time, but if we don't have the intention and strategy behind those automations, it's going to be a lot harder to turn the leads that we're bringing into our email list into customers and repeat customers that come back and customers that refer you to other people. And that is really where the magic happens and the scalability happens in your business. When you partner all of these incredible automations that Greg has made accessible to you inside AttractWell with the strategy in your business, that's going to allow you to get customers, retain customers, and scale your business. So we're going to dive deep into that in the masterclass on Monday. I wish we could just talk about it all today. But we're going to do that live on Monday at 1 p.m. Eastern. And I know they'll put the link here below, attractwell.com/masterclass, so you can sign up for that. And one cool thing that we're going to do in that class is I'm going to give you the opportunity to audit your business. So there's 6 key strategies to a 7-figure successful business. And so I'm going to give you the opportunity to audit your business to determine, do I have these strategies in place? If not, then which ones do I need to be focusing on, which are costing me customers or costing me revenue in my business? Because we want to leverage all of these to be able to build a really successful business. And it is the way that I have built all the successful businesses that we have, time and time again, these simple key strategies. So we're going to dive into those. You're going to be able to audit your business and find out exactly which areas you need to be focusing on more, so that everything that you're learning and doing inside AttractWell can be incredibly effective, not only for your bank account, but for your customers, and the people that you serve. Because seeing everything that y'all do here in the chat, we need more of it in the world, and we need you to be serving more people to make a difference.
Absolutely. So Chrissy, question for you.
Yeah.
When you first got started, in this sort of space of becoming more efficient, right? Because nobody is perfect like this out of the gate. How do you choose or determine between the shoulds and the coulds where it comes to automating and sort of building systems for your business? Because I think that it's very easy, especially if you're newer to this type of tech and systematizing what you do, it's easy to overcomplicate and to overwhelm yourself, right? So what does editing that look like for you? Or how do you determine like what you would want to automate or build leverage around in the first place?
Yeah, I think I'm really gonna botch this, and I can't remember who created it, and maybe you can help me. But it's like focusing on the 20% of your business that generates 80% of the success, right? I think that's kind of how it goes. So we can often find ourselves focusing on all these things that keep us really busy. First, we need to ask ourselves, why are we doing that? Because usually there's some mindset stuff behind it. But really taking a look at all of the things that you want to do and what the goals of your business are, and then taking a look at everything and saying, okay, which one is going to make the most impact in my business, and starting there. And, on a whole other topic in terms of goal setting, having that goal, setting that goal for the year. And if you're anything like me, maybe you're a visionary, maybe you have a ton of ideas, maybe you want to do a lot of different things, and you do try and do a lot of different things. You can't do anything really well when you've got your mind and hand in a lot of different buckets. And so one of just the best tips that I can give you today is to, if you haven't set that goal for the end of the year or for the next year, starting today, figuring out that goal and then asking what needs to happen in order to reach that goal, and then breaking that down into 4 quarters. What do I need to do this quarter? That's going to then be the starting point. And then the next quarter I can build on that. And the next quarter I can build on that. And by the time you're done with the 4 quarters, if you have achieved those 4 things, you'll have hit your goal, right? So just kind of working backwards. And that is how we determine what gets the attention in our business, right? Like, what is the goal that we're focusing on now, and not having shiny object syndrome. You hear your podcast and a new thing, you're like, oh, gotta try that. You have to stay focused on what you're planning to do and what you're working on, and just keeping it simple is going to be, that's kind of how I work backwards and kind of figure out what we're working on and focusing on. And it's hard to do, my friends. I am like, oh, but this thing. But if you stay focused, you'll achieve and accomplish a lot more.
There's a great proverb Genevieve shared here in the chat. A man who tries to chase 300 rabbits catches none. And that was the Pareto principle, the 80-20 rule.
Yes, thank you. I couldn't remember his. Yeah.
Yeah. So, it's fascinating what can take up 80% of our time, and how unrelated that often can be to the things that move the needle. When we think about building leverage, I think that one of the most important places to look is where you are spending the bulk of your time. I think depending on your business and how you spend your time, it's going to look different. Obviously, there's lots of different types of businesses here. I think that a lot of the things that take up the most mental space and just like dead time has to do with communications, how we communicate, how we come up with what we're going to say, what we say to whom and when, right? I am going to go through a list here in a bit about, sort of some of the features in AttractWell that you can use to get started with building leverage. But I think that that's a really important place to consider starting, right? So creating tools that you can leverage, because that's the whole idea of leverage, is we're using one thing to get other things done, right?
Right.
So
I love it.
yeah, so starting with just making tools, and in AttractWell, that could be as simple as creating a saved reply so that you don't have to try to go find that one link every time you need to share that piece of information with another person, right? Just starting
Yeah.
to think about things that way. It's like a new approach. I think a lot of us don't necessarily, especially if we're coming from the world of employment, we don't really think about optimizing in that way, because if you're being compensated for your time, that's a whole other, it's not about the results, it's about punching a clock. So you start thinking differently when you are the clock. Right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
I love that. I'm glad you're going to talk about it, because communication is everywhere in your business, whether you're communicating, we communicated about me coming on here, communicating with your potential clients and customers, communicating with your existing customers. And it matters and it makes a difference. And there are so many time saving strategies that you guys offer in AttractWell. So I'm excited that you're going to dive into this.
yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And before we do, I would like to make sure everybody knows to go sign up for that masterclass. That's attractwell.com/masterclass. You say that's 1 o'clock Eastern time on Monday?
Yeah, 1 o'clock Eastern, block off 90 minutes. I'll try and wrap it up in like an hour and 15 minutes. I've got some really special things. This is just for the AttractWell community and the sister company that you have. So this is just for Greg's community here. So I have some really special things planned and things that I don't normally talk about in the masterclass that we're going to dive into. So I hope you can come live and join us.
Yeah, absolutely. This, you guys, if you haven't learned from Chrissy before, take advantage of this. Chrissy not only knows how to get all of this done, multiple kids, working from home, multiple businesses, getting it all done. And you're somebody who, like you said, you got a house on the lake. You like to spend time doing what you want to do with
That's
the
right.
success
That's
that you've
right.
created,
I am
right?
aching to, we just scheduled to get the boat de-winterized, and I'm like, all right, just tell me when I can be there. Yeah, because we like to have fun
Yeah.
and we like to serve. So if I can do both, like I want to help people build their businesses, build them faster, more efficiently, so that you guys can be doing the things that you want to be doing. And I love, like, last Saturday, I spent 5 hours creating a new freebie and a new funnel because I had this brilliant idea and I was like, I have to do it. And my husband was out shopping with the kids and I was just geeking out over it. And I loved every single second of it. So I'm someone who likes to work hard in my business and I geek out over my business and these things and creating and serving. And I also like to take a day off like I did yesterday and go to the aquarium with my daughter's class. I don't know if I'll sign up for that again. That was a lot. I was like herding cats, first graders, like come back, or spending time on the lake. So I love to be able to do those things too. And having a platform and a system like AttractWell and learning, these different strategies like you're going to teach and what we're going to teach in the masterclass on Monday is what allows you to be able to do all of these things and do them well.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So if you want to hear from somebody who is a master in the AttractWell system and who does all of these things that we're talking about so well, definitely make sure you head over, guys, to this link, attractwell.com/masterclass, and get yourself signed up for that free masterclass. So cool. All right, so let's talk about some of the ways that you can create leverage in AttractWell. A lot of these do actually focus on your communications. The majority of these things are going to focus on your communication. So we'll go into each of these. So first, I want to encourage you, if you haven't done so already, consider coursifying your coaching. If you are a coach and you spend one-on-one time with clients, if you are selling hours of your time working with clients, take the things that you say often, the things that you teach often, and encapsulate them into video so that you can do it once and then use it over and over again, right? That's creating leverage. So we actually have an entire training on this. I encourage you to look it up. Coursify, just spelled like that. If you search that in the AttractWell Success Academy, you will find this training. Highly, highly recommend this. And essentially what it allows you to do is to buy your time back, right? Invest some time into creating something that you can use over and over again, except this is a replication of yourself, right? And so when you make those videos, you put them into an online class in AttractWell, and then you put that into a vault, and that vault you can use for groups. You could use it as a course, of course, you could sell it. But you could also, if you've got unlimited vaults, which is an add-on with AttractWell, it's a really great deal. You can have private client dashboards, right? So you can have a vault for each client where you have all of your communication in one space. And of course, you've got your sort of curriculumized coaching experience that they can have access to. This buys so much of your time back. And then again, along the lines of communication, saved replies. One of my absolute favorite features in AttractWell, because you can create a piece of information. It can have links, it can be formatted for like a newsletter or a blog post. It can be an email, it can be a text message, it can even go into your online classes. So anything that you say often, anything that you share often, such as links, put those into saved replies so that you can very easily go grab those and insert them wherever you need to communicate whatever that thing is. So again, you don't have to remember what to say. You don't have to spend time trying to move past the writer's block in your brain or fish out that link that you want to send. It'll all be just right there. Campaigns are another fantastic way to leverage your communication. This is especially important where you need a sequence, right? So obviously, if you are launching something, a sales campaign is going to be super time saving for you. You don't have to make sure that you are tied to the computer at the date and time and hour that you need to be sending off your promotional messages for your sales campaign. You could simply write them and schedule them or apply them to your contacts, and you're good to go. Onboarding clients, this is a phenomenal way to do this as well. You need to get agreements signed and sent. You need intake information from them. All of these things can be sent out using a campaign where, again, it's a set it and forget it, right? You apply it, it does the work for you, and you could even prompt follow-up and response from the folks that you're working with, or even from your leads using a feature like this. And then finally, we have automations, right? So automations are an actual function. It's like we have a thing called automations in AttractWell that allows you to do all kinds of things at the same time, right? So it allows for conditional response, which if you are employing conditional response strategies in our system, you are going to save yourself loads of time, and what you're doing is going to be so much more effective. If you're not familiar with conditional response, it's really simple. The idea is that you have an experience that you want to create. Right? So if you have someone who is a lead, for instance, we want them to have a particular experience when they interact with us. But if they take an action as a lead that maybe indicates that they are more than just a subscriber to you, but they're someone who is a potential buyer, you want to be able to understand when that's happening. And you want to be able to follow up and respond appropriately, right? Similarly, once that person makes a purchase, you maybe don't want to be sending them sales messages anymore, right? So what you're able to do with these automations is adjust that journey based on what the contact does. So if the contact clicks a link, for instance, in an email, they might visit a page on your website. But what could be happening in the background is that they are now tagged as a particular type of lead, and maybe they get a new campaign. Maybe you get reminded via a follow-up plan to reach out to that person directly, look them up on social, etc., whatever your systems or processes might be. So speaking of automations, by the way, Greg, I want to promote you up here to co-host so I can get you screen sharing, because Greg actually has a really, really cool Let me see. I think you are.
Looks like I
Maybe
am
made you,
already, yeah.
yeah, automatically. That's new. Cool. Yeah. So, Greg, there's a new video feature that incorporates automations. It's super exciting. So, could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Absolutely. Let me share my screen here to start. Cool. Yeah, so there's a new video tracking feature that can be used to determine when people are clicking your link to view the video, and basically how much of the video they've watched with a few trigger points along the way, like when they finish the video. And not only can it notify you, but it can also run automations. Like it can tag them and run actual automations where it could then add, add them, remove them to or from campaigns, follow-up plans so you can follow up in person, maybe add them to a course or unlock another video, or I mean, there's just all sorts of things that can be done with those automations. So where this is located, if you open up your content library menu here in AttractWell and then click videos, that's the screen that you're seeing here. And the magic happens. Of course, you have to have a video, at least one video uploaded. But the magic happens when you check this share with link box, which is already done here. When you click get link. Now this used to, I mean, the get link did exist before, but it would just immediately copy a link to your clipboard. And you can still get that if you check the get link box and then click get link. I'll pull this up here and you'll see it just pulls up the video. This is great for just sharing with people. You're going to post it somewhere. You don't really care about, seeing what's going on there. No matter what options you choose, though, this viewer will always look the same. It'll just be your video. They won't know what's, if anything's going on. But the magic on it kind of unlocks here when you click on get link and then check a box to get a shareable link for a specific contact. Now, what I'll do is I'll put this in here and then pop in you can start checking some of these boxes and you can see there's several options here. Like when you check this first one to track the percentage of video watched, then there's some other automations that can be triggered here. Like when they clicking the link is always available. That's, can do send you an email and such when they start playing a video and they watch some of the video and when they finish the video. And let me step you through that here. So if you track when the contact clicks the link, you can then, you can see the slides down and all four of these sections are pretty similar. You can get an email, a text and or an app notification, all three or none, up to you. You can tag people when, pick a tag or two or add a new tag, whatever you want to do. Those people will get tagged when they click the link in this case, or, if you have it set up on these other ones, and it can also run an automation. So you can set that up to do other things like, adding a campaign or all sorts of possibilities there. Now, all of these are pretty similar. Like if I click start playing the video, you've got the same settings down here as clicking the link, and same with watching some of the video. But the difference is with watching some of the video and finishing the video, you get to choose the percentage. Like if, every video is a little bit different. Like there's usually in a lot of videos, there's a certain point after which it's like kind of the main point is conveyed. So you could set that to, let's say it's at 35% of your video. You can adjust this up and down depending on what you want. And this is per contact. Each contact could have a different percentage if you wanted to, but I mean, that's, kind of up to you how you want to do that. And then also with finishing the video, if you don't want it to be 100%, which means they watch to the very last second, and then it finishes and the little time slider goes all the way to the end, you can dial it back to, 90 or 95 or whatever the drop off point is in terms of content. And so that will allow you to really see what's going on with the video. They click the link, they hit play, they watched half the video, they finished the video. Maybe like the more they watch, the more, the higher it is that you want to reach out to them. If they're interested at all, if they've clicked at all. And so once you set all these, you can click the get link button down here, and then you'll get a link that looks quite a bit like the one that I was just showing you. And then you can share that with them however you want to, Messenger, however you want to go about sharing that link with them with that specific contact. And the other cool part here too, it does remember all your settings because there are a lot of settings here. You probably don't want to have to click through those every time, especially if there's, complex tags and automations that you have set up for each one of these. It will remember it. So the next time you go in, it'll just pre-fill this form. The only thing you have to do really is pick a new contact every time, but it resets, remembers all the settings for you. And finally, there is a statistics feature available. So like this, I know this video here has been viewed a few times. So if I click on view statistics, which this link has always been here, it's just been expanded. If I click on view statistics, there's a new section here about the direct video sharing stats. So this shows, okay, 2 contacts have been sent this video. 2 of them clicked the link. One of them watched, some of the video, which is, about 50%, and then one of them finished watching the video. So you can see this is like a high level mini funnel overview, like how far do people get through. So that data can be useful, especially if you're sending the same video to a large number of people, so getting a link and setting it to them. And then, this will aggregate. If I would share to another contact, it would also show up here too. This would bump up to 3, and then those statistics would update appropriately. So yeah, so that's the cool new feature here. Hopefully, you guys, I'm excited to see what uses you all get out of it. And yeah, if you have any questions, certainly reach out to support. One other note, there is a nice help article here. If you search, actually, all you have to do really is click the Get Help button, and there's an article called Video Tracking and Engagement that walks through all of this. I do have it pulled up here in a new tab, but it walks through basically everything I shared here and what it does. And in case you want to read up on it at that time. So yeah, back to you, Ashley.
Sorry, I was muted. There was a question here from Peggy about whether or not this is something that could be applied, I think maybe more broadly, because you've gone in and you created a link for a specific contact. Is there a way yet to like filter contacts and bulk apply and have it like generate a unique link for a larger group of people?
There isn't at the moment. It is for a specific contact, but I mean, that's a good wish list item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the use case here, like that I find really fascinating and helpful with having this feature is going to apply, I think, most to folks who sell using video as a tool, right? So imagine here that you've got a prospective client or customer. They need to review some information in order to be able to make a decision. In this case, you have video, like a video presentation, maybe a recording of a webinar that you gave or something like that. You want to make sure that that person has indeed watched a certain amount of that video in order for you to know that that person's qualified for next steps, right? So that's where you can, after you've maybe sent them the video, you could have a campaign that goes with it. If they click, but they didn't watch enough of it, right? An email might go out that says, hey, don't forget to finish this video. Or of course, if somebody, watches enough of it, then they can start receiving follow-up messages from you. And of course, you can be alerted as well. So if you want to kind of strike while the iron is hot, the person just saw the video and you want to pick up the phone and give them a call, this gives you the ability to do that, which is really, really cool. So awesome. I think, yeah, so that's not something, if you were to post a video like in a discussion room, that you would have the same functionality contact by contact, but you would have the view stats. Like if you want to see like how often your video has been viewed and what percentage of video has been viewed, that I don't think like that's irrespective of where you share the video. Okay, so we have Peggy and Fiona signed up for work reviews today. So Peggy, we've been chatting here. Let's go ahead and bring you out. How can we help today?
So hi both of you. I created my first vault this past weekend and a campaign to invite 18 people into the vault. And I was not, I guess, whatever I did. Instead, I invited 660 people to the vault with 3 messages in the campaign that were all dated with to send on day 0. So because I wanted to test the campaign. So I had knots in my stomach all day. Julie talked me off the ledge. She sent me a super video. So I would love a little feedback because I can't let that happen again.
Okay. Can you tell me what the steps were that you followed. Or actually, no, let me rewind just a little bit. Your goal in creating the campaign was what? Like, what was a campaign supposed to do?
It was to invite people to the vault. So the first campaign said, I have this terrific thing, log in here. The second was that in case you haven't done it, here's the vault, blah, blah, blah. The third one, same thing.
Okay.
I didn't have anything set up with removing them from the campaign when they signed in. Like I was not worried about that yet. I just wanted to get them in there.
Okay. Okay. All right, great. So so obviously we want to make sure that the campaign is set up correctly first. That is, you know, set to deliver the way that you want. And then it's definitely going to be important to make sure that at the vault level that that campaign gets removed from that contact. So all right, so what is the name of the campaign?
In the campaigns, let's see. So the one that let's see, it's the 5TT. So it's
Is it this one?
yeah, you know, I've since that was a week ago. I've since changed it a little bit, but yes, I believe Julie helped me to, yes, exactly where you have your cursor. So I've removed one and I've changed the send on days.
Okay, excellent. Okay, so this is an invitation. Okay. So this means you're going to need to basically add these folks to the vault so that they have permission access, or you're going to want to use an automation here to add them to Vault when they click this button. So this is like a welcome to Vault email, right? Like where we get a you know, go over here and create your password, get the app, etc. This
Right.
is something that's typically sent to somebody after they have been added to a vault, right? So they sign up for access to a vault by paying for it on a sales page, or they're otherwise they put in their information and they get access. You can bypass that if they're already in your contacts by using an automation link, right? So on click, they could be added to Vault and then they would receive a message like this one, right? So essentially your goal here is to say, I want to invite you, come check this out. When they click, they can go, like they're added to the Vault, they can go in and set up their you know, their membership, right? And then if they don't take action on this email, a couple days later, you come back and you remind them, right? So what we're going to want to make sure we do here, and I think the easiest way to get this done is with an automation. What we want to make sure we do here is actually add them to the vault if they click the button, right? Because if you just send this to somebody who hasn't been added to the vault, this button isn't going to do what you want it to do. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go in a new tab. I'm going to go over to automations, and we're just going to create an automation that adds them to the vault. And then we'll also redirect them to that vault's page, right? So to the member area login, basically. So we're going to go add. And this is going to be add to 5TT vault. And the action will be to add them to that vault. And that's the vault. Okay. So that'll be the automation. I'm going to copy this here. And here, this, okay, we're going to send them here. And instead of doing this, we're going to paste this here, add to vault, right? And then, Greg, is there like a shortcut code type of situation where we could maybe redirect them to that vault page where they're putting in their, you know, creating a login?
Oh, like the main, just open to anyone login page.
No, no, like, so I don't want to have Peggy completely recreate her, like, her campaign here. But like, basically the idea is we click here, we're being added to the vault. But we're kind of bypassing the need for like a welcome to vault campaign here, right? Because she's inviting them to go and get in just from this email, right? But typically, because this is a welcome to vault email that she's utilizing here, only for people who aren't in the vault yet. So I want to add them to the vault when they click, but then I want to redirect them to, like, from the automation, I want to redirect them to where they can put in their name and their email, right? To
Yeah, I mean, you could
get access.
redirect, that in the automation, I suppose you could have the, change that to be an automation link and then redirect them to whatever the member area URL is.
Okay.
At that point, the way that it's set up, the welcome to vault campaign would still need to be sent out there, and that's how they would click. They have to click on a link in
Yeah.
that email,
Okay.
or they could do a password reset on the login page too. Not ideal. There isn't like a
Okay.
one-click invite, that
Okay.
logs them in right away. That's what
Okay.
you're
Got you. All right. So then here's what we'll do. This email, we're going to use this basically. This email is going to get used for your welcome to vault, the actual welcome to vault, like once they're in. So let's go take a quick look, just so you understand where this lives, Peggy. So in your vaults, there is a welcome to vault campaign, right? And there's this built-in one of which you have used as a template here. It's under your entry settings. This is our entry campaign, right? Yeah, this is our entry campaign, right? So our entry campaign is where that button that they click, that's it. That's actually the purpose of this this campaign that you copied, is once they have been added, you have added them, they have added themselves, whatever, they're going to be sent a button or in an email, this button right here. When they click this, it's going to take them over to a magical page that we can't just generate otherwise. That's going to have them put in their name and their email and pick their password, and now they're able to sign in to your vault. So we're going to want to use a version of this campaign, or at least this message specifically, as that welcome. So I'm just gonna, again, I'm gonna copy all of this. I'm gonna grab the code actually and copy all of this just to make sure I get it all. And so we just need to just create a welcome to vault campaign for this, right? So we're going to create a new, so you're going to be using two campaigns. One of them you're going to use just like you would use a broadcast to invite, right? And this one is what's going to go out automatically on your behalf to the folks who say yes to joining the vault. So this is going to be a 5TT welcome to vault is what we're going to call that. We'll create it, and then I'm going to paste that message because this actually works for this purpose. So here's my code. There's our exact email. And so we'll say, I'm so excited to have you join me. All right. Perfect. Yeah, so when they click this, it's going to allow them to get access to the vault. So I'm going to save this. I'm going to come over here and we're going to attach this campaign to go out when somebody says yes to the vault. All right. Now our pre-entry campaign, we're not going to fool around with that because we are just going to like allow people to click the link in the email that you send them. And that will add them to the vault. And when they're added to the vault, they will get the email that we just put together here, right? So now we've got our automation set up here appropriately as it pertains to communicating with people after they say yes to the vault. Now we work on the invitation, and the invitation will utilize that automation that we created, this one right here. Now we want to We want to send them to a confirmation page that's going to tell them to check their email for another message from you. Okay. So what we're going to do here is, let's see, let's go over to your pages and just create a quick confirmation page that tells them to check their email. Okay. Do you have a like a logo or an image or something for your 5 to Thrive?
Yeah, you can
Maybe,
use that dark one with the 5 on it, or it doesn't matter. Yeah, that's fine.
Okay. Okay, great. Perfect. So we'll say almost there. And we'll say check your email now for a link to join our community. And you can go back and change this, of course, to your liking. And then this will be a contact button. So we put in hashtag contact, so it'll pop up your form if they need to get in touch. And we'll say, if you don't see an email from me in the next 10 minutes, get in touch. And then we'll make this congruent here. So get in touch. Okay. Good to go. So we'll name it we'll name it the 5TT confirmation. And that's going to be link only. You don't need anything else. Okay. Now let's go back to our automation that we created, right? So this automation, remember, is one where we are going to add them to your vault. We may choose to tag them here as well. We could just go ahead and get it all done at once. And we're also going to stop sending the invitation campaign, right? Because remember, you've got that first message that says, I'm inviting you to come join me. And then a couple days later, you have that message that says, would still love for you to come join me. We don't want that second message to go to anybody who said yes. So we're going to use an automation to remove that campaign from the contact if they click this automation link to add themselves to the vault. So we're adding them to the vault. We're going to send them to that confirmation. All right. Nope, that's not it. That's our 5TT. Maybe I need to refresh the page here because I did just create that page. Okay. So we're going to go find that real quick. 5TT confirmation. There it is. And let's add a tag here. So this is 5TT from email invite, right? So now you'll know that these are the people who actually click the link in email. So these are maybe your clients, I assume, right? Because I think you're selling this program to some people.
Yes.
Right.
That's
So
right.
yeah, so we'll add that here. One thing, I don't think you have payments set up on that vault yet. Once you do, you will want to modify this this piece of the automation because you want it to specify that you're giving this to them for free. So if you were to use that in the future, give it away for free via this link, then that's something that you might want to check out. All right, so we've got our tag, we're adding them to the vault. We are removing the campaign and we're good to go. So that campaign is the invite campaign, and that's going to be removed. Okay, so this is what we are going to put in that invite campaign, this automation, right? So what's going to happen here is you're going to send out this campaign, and I assume these are to clients or people on your list, right? You're going to be sending this out, and this is going to be, hey, I'd love for you to join me. Click this link to join me, right? So when they click, they're going to be added to that vault. They're going to be tagged, and they're not going to get that second message. Right? So that's how that's going to work. Does that make sense?
It does make sense. Yes.
Okay. So, and now we're back in our invites. All right. So this is where we are not going to talk about getting access to, like, they're not going to be able to get access to the portal here. What I would do here in this message is to, just tell them why they might want to come join the free community. But here's what we'll do. We'll say, click the button below to get access to this community. And I'm going to make a button here. But first, I'm going to make a link. So I'm going to paste that automation code. That's our link. And we'll say join the community. I'm going to insert that there and then turn it into a button. There you go. And the same thing that you have here, you're going to want to make sure you put in that second message as well, right? Because it's that automation link. When they click it, they're going to go to the confirmation page. They're going to be added to the vault. They're going to get an email from you to get access to the vault, right? But that's a separate thing, right? And it's going to stop sending them this initial campaign. So I hope that clears things up. I think that the disconnect might have been, with what the campaign like this, like specifically what it's used for. But this is a pretty simple fix, I think. Pretty easy fix.
Yes, it maybe not as easy for you. I mean, maybe not as difficult for you, but yes, I got it. I've got it.
Okay, fabulous. Well, here we go. This is join the community is here. There we go. So basically all you need to do, I think at this point, is to go into this invite campaign and make it say what you want to say. And then you can apply that campaign. And so you'll know that if anybody clicks the link in either of those emails, they're going to have all the things happen in the back end that you want to have happen. They'll get that additional email from you, and they won't receive that second one in that campaign if they don't click.
Okay. One last question. Is there any way to see who has, so if I've invited 18 people, is there any way to see how many or who has actual access to the vault and who still needs to be prodded?
Yeah. So the campaign is going to kind of sort that for you, right? Because the campaign is going to kick people off of it if it's no longer like relevant to them. That's what we did with creating that automation.
Right.
So what you're able to do as well is if you, so we created that tag, right? That tag is 5TT invite from email. Filter out those people from the contacts that you want to connect with, and those are the people that you would want to continue inviting.
Okay.
Right? So you know how to use the exclude filter, right?
Yes, I do.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
great.
perfect. That's it.
Alrighty. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. Glad we could help.
Thank you.
And also so glad that Julie was able to talk you off the ledge. It happens. We've all had stuff like that happen, and it doesn't get easier. the anxiety. Hi Fiona, how can we help? Thanks for your patience.
Well, I just ran a campaign that bombed badly.
Oh.
And it could have been that my Facebook isn't reaching as many people as I think it does, even though I've got like a gazillion friends. Not really, but anyways, close. It could be that I named it something that people that were in grief would have been like completely freaked by, or it could just be that I have no idea how to communicate or do the campaign. So if you could help me with anything, it would be very appreciative because I
Okay,
need
well,
money.
all right. So can you give me a little more context here? When you say campaign, did you make like an email campaign in AttractWell, like we were just doing with Peggy, or you were engaging in like a marketing campaign around something?
So what I did was I made a campaign within AttractWell, and then I did a campaign that another sort of coach taught me how to do, like a quick kind of, this is not too expensive, do your marketing campaign like this. So it was a very quick kind of try to sell it within a week, and then also have it open and just keep sending people to it.
Okay.
Does that make
Okay.
sense?
Yeah. Okay. And what are you selling and to whom?
So I am what's considered a peer worker, and those are people with lived experience. My lived experience is in trauma, but because I worked within a psychiatric hospital setting, I also used to teach staff trauma-informed, patient-centered care. So I know how to bridge the gap between the lived and the learned, for one. But it's sort of marketing m- uh, my lived experience for somebody that has the knowledge.
Okay. So were you promoting your time, like
I was
sessions with
so
you?
the thing was is it's an alternative to mental health care. It is a more natural and unique response. So what I was offering was a campaign to go through the 7 stages of grief with the least amount of pain and doing it together instead of alone. And that what it would take is we would do an hour, we'd get together an hour the last Sunday of every month. And I would go over what the stage of grief was, and then we could lean into what it felt for us. And then we'd have a discussion group in which we could kind of gather in there and uh, kind of support each other through each one. Because my theory and what a lot of science theory talks about is that it's really great if you want to like deal with just your mental health, but that does not deal with trauma. You need to be dealing with it on a somatic level, and it takes longer for your emotions and your body to catch up because those are primary responses and not your head trying to override stuff.
Okay. Okay.
So
So
completely weird for most people that are used to the medical model that says, don't worry for a week, we're going to challenge you, and by the end, you're not going to be sad.
well, so here's the thing, and this is the difficulty. It's really easy to say and then also understand how you put that last part. And you're obviously not doing the same thing that they're doing, but there is a compelling case to be made for communicating a little bit more like they do. Right. So and that's the thing, right? Like it's going to take this much time and you're not going to be sad anymore. Like those are actually really important triggers for someone to make a decision, like to decide that this is actually something that they want to do. And I think that in the like just because of the nature of your work, you are dealing with difficult, some often painful, delicate subjects. These aren't necessarily things that people who are dealing, like who actually need your help, they're not necessarily just like intrinsically motivated to engage
Oh
with
no, I
something
can
like that.
understand
Yeah.
that.
Yeah. Because it in the mind, just to really be simple about this, it reads like work in our lizard brain, right?
Yeah.
And so if it reads like work, we don't want to do that, right? Even if we know it's good for us, we don't want to eat our vegetables. But there's chocolate on the table. So you kind of have to find a way to speak to the that lizard in the brain, right? That's like, yeah, but I want chocolate. So what I would do if you are like your goal, it sounds like, is to get something off the ground, right? Just to start earning some money doing this, like get something happening. I
Yeah, like
would
the campaign is on it's like a webinar style. I grabbed something off of I grabbed the quick webinar kind of campaign thing and put something together so that
okay.
they did have a funnel to go through. Um, and I did get 5 people interested. They got into the cart and then they dropped out.
Okay. Okay. So have you done discovery calls? Like, have you had maybe quick calls to connect with somebody, see if they're a fit, and then for
No.
you to actually present working with you? I think that if you've not done that yet, um, that would actually be a really important place to start. Webinars are fantastic, but you really are going to hone the most effective possible language for you to talk about what you do, to understand the objections, why somebody would drop, right? Those are things that you need to have a lot of volume going through a funnel in order for you to maybe try to obtain the data that you need to see where you could be making improvements. Whereas the fastest path to not just getting the information, but also understanding how to deliver it better next time is to actually engage in a conversation.
Right.
That would be my recommendation would be that, like, spend a couple weeks doing that, because it's the language that they are speaking to you when they talk about what they want. Those are the
Right.
words you got to use in your webinar. You know,
Is
those are
it
the words that are going to
possible,
make them buy. What's that?
is it possible for you, because it was supposed to be a 7-month group,
Mhm.
and is it possible for you to look at the website that I created or the sales
Yeah,
page that I created to tell me
absolutely.
if there's things that I could change on there?
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. What is the name of the page?
Um, it is the Good Grief Group.
I love that name.
Nobody else did. Yeah, that's it.
Okay. What are you putting out into the world for lead generation? Like, do you have a freebie or something that you give away? Or are you making content?
I'm making content. I'm making a lot of content in regards to the medical model versus the biopsychosocial model. Um, Also like how to live well, the social determinants of health, all that kind of stuff. And I just figured that I could do this quickly to be able to generate cash, because
Mhm.
if I don't, I'm going belly up quick.
Okay. So what I would do, okay, I would aim for getting private clients as a, you know, like I would aim for getting, like, focusing on getting a couple of one-on-one clients as
Okay.
an entry. And if you want to sell something, the first thing that you need to know is that you need to say less. And the
Okay.
things that you need to say, they need to kind of fit that formula of it's going to take a week and you're not going to be sad anymore. Like, those are currencies that are important to your person. So you need to understand what else is important to them. Obviously, they want to feel better. But why? Do they want to feel better so that they can show up better for their kids? Do they want to feel better so that they feel more secure in their job because feeling the way they feel is getting in the way of their work? You obviously can help people who have lots of whys, but focus on one why, because that's going to give you a saleable currency, right? That's going to give you something that you can say, hey, we're going to get together, and in this amount of time, you're going to get this thing, and it's going to help you go out in the world and do this. Not just be happy, because they obviously want to be happy, but why do they want to be happy? What's it standing in their
Right.
way of, right? So I would find some kind of low-hanging fruit that you know people who have this problem. Solve it quickly, right? Give them a little thing that they can do. Maybe so what you would have done in this 7 months, find a thing that's in there that's high impact, but a faster turnaround. Maybe it's a technique or a tool that somebody, who's fairly new to this approach can utilize and walk away from an experience with you with their life improved. That gives them a step. It's better to have those stories as bricks and building blocks. And it does seem, here, that, like, it's not going to make as much money, but you will actually make more money faster if you work, like Chrissy and I were talking about, like, the complexities, right? Of can we make a webinar? Sure. Should we make a webinar? Maybe not yet, right? So
It wasn't so much webinars. It was like supposed to be a gathering group that I led like the first 10, 20 minutes of,
Mhm.
and then within the last hour, the rest, it would open up to everybody chatting.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great idea. And honestly, I think that even creating a social space, one that is free, where it's not focused around, hey, we're all sad. It's a, hey, let's get together and learn a happy technique, right? Where the framing around it is like, you know, we're doing something actionable. And we're going to make it bite-sized baby steps. I think that creating community is a really great idea, and it does a lot of heavy lifting for you. And creating community doesn't mean necessarily even that you have to build out an entire vault. So long as, you know, if you're on social media, starting conversations about these things in ways that really speak to the person that you want to be attracting. You know, that can create it, right? Starting discussions is a really simple path to that. But essentially, what I would encourage you to do is, you know, obviously you have this thing that you've put together, have that be a thing that's in your back pocket. But I would really kind of focus on like what is an outcome that I can help somebody generate in a day, in an hour. What can I help somebody generate in an hour with me? And if they get that thing done in an hour with me, they will feel so much better. They will, you know, be empowered this much more. And, you know, and then of course they will feel good about maybe coming back and learning another thing or buying the, you know, getting into the 7-month program, right? I would definitely see if you could just kind of pull a piece out, sell it for less money, right? Than you would for the whole 7-month deal. But I think that you're going to get a lot more people interested in committing to 7 months if you can show them that, hey, in an hour, here's what you can walk away with, you know?
Okay.
Yeah, just finding a way to kind of create a concise result. And then as you're working on, you know, how you'll market this 7-month program, definitely work on editing yourself and the copy that you're putting on the page. And this is a difficult practice, but editing how you speak as well, because what we really want to make sure that we're doing is speaking a language that they understand. And there's a reason why the most popular stuff is popular. It's because it's stupid simple, right? And that's, you know, no disrespect to anyone's intelligence. It's just our brains like to be lazy children if they can be, you know. And if we can speak to that part and make things very compelling to that part and not make it feel like it's going to be a lot of work, you focus on the benefit, you focus on the outcome, you're going to get a better response from people. But as it stands, this is already a heavy and difficult topic that they don't necessarily like facing. And you're telling them that they need to learn a bunch of stuff about it and talk about it on a regular basis and commit to 7 months of that. And
Yeah, that doesn't sound very happy.
yeah.
Thanks.
So you're going to be doing the exact same thing and you're going to give them extraordinary results, but you just got to talk about it a little different, you know? That's the
Okay,
main thing.
I appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. I'm glad you could come out.
Thank
All
you.
right. Yeah, for sure. All right. Thank you guys for sticking around. I hope this was helpful to you. We will be back here same time next week. Keep up the great work. I'm so proud of you guys, all this amazing work that you're doing. We see it coming through. We see it on the calls like we've seen today with Fiona and Peggy. Really just awesome work. Definitely make sure you guys set some time aside Monday, AttractWell.com/masterclass. Our friend Chrissy is so brilliant with this stuff, and it's a free class. So make sure you guys check it out. We will see you next week. Take care.